It's time. We've waited so long to get to this moment. Banner raising, ring showing off. It's Dallas week. This is Victory Mondays. Let's go.
From the city of brotherly love. All day, baby. You know that.
Let's hunt.
If we don't come together right now on this hollow ground. Where are you going? I'm going to pick a fight.
Get the stuff there. Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is that why you are here?
Let the games begin.
This is where we hold them. This is where we fight. This is where they die.
Money is nice, championships are better.
Welcome, everybody, back for another episode of Victory Mondays. I'm the player. I am the host. I am the CEO. They call me Moss Money. And I got my GM with me, Ernie B. What's up, bro?
What's up? What's up? Dallas week, baby. Let's get it.
Yeah, man. Dallas week. There's nothing better. I made this one. It actually kind of went viral, and a couple people copied it. But I made some crazy thing about Dallas week about 2 years ago, and I just went off. It doesn't matter if we're 16-0 or 0-16. Dallas week is forever ingrained as a Philadelphia Eagles fan. Everything stops. As long as we beat Dallas and beat them convincingly, we're going to have a good week. And mark my words, Thursday Night Football, the opener for the NFL 2025-2020 season starts with your boys dropping banners. ring raising, not watch, ring raising. Philadelphia Eagles, Super Bowl defending, two-time Super Bowl defending undisputed champs. Oh, we can't wait to get it started. Couple things that we got to do for the show. Pay a little bit of bills and get right into it. There will be a new sponsorship coming, so make sure you guys shout out and look out for that. That's going to be pretty cool. And then we have our members. We have our first member who signed up this week as the top tier. So we have 3 tiers. We have a $2 tier. We have a I think it's $3 tier, and then we have a $9.99 tier where you get to come on live with us and talk live and talk birds. So if you guys are on there on YouTube and you're following, if not, follow Money Pot Betting. Make sure you hit the join button and get on the money team and come on live with us and talk football and talk birds. So that should be really cool. Marcus, I think you guys have seen him a little bit here and there. Will be joining us later in the show today, so that's going to be really cool to talk birds. All right. The overall thought of this show today, I want to start it with this, and people out there watching, listening, let me know what your thoughts are. And I've been trying to put this together. Maybe we do it organically together. Ernie B., what is the theme of this year? Like, are we still looking for respect? Is this a Jalen Hurts revenge tour after winning the Super Bowl MVP in the Super Bowl? Is people just down on the Eagles, or is it just media hoopla that likes to get in and just talk birds so they fire up fans and things like this when we're talking about possibly one of the best teams ever in the Philadelphia Eagles last year? I mean, talk to me, man. What do you think this theme is for this year coming up for your defending Super Bowl champs, Philadelphia Eagles?
Well, I think we're going to start off by just talking about how kind of a couple things that you touched on. Can Jalen Hurts elevate his game to another level? Can the passing offense mainly take itself to what we think it can be on paper? That falls on Kevin Patullo. That falls on, a lot of things. I think health is wealth. I think that in 2023 they suffered from a lot of injuries, and I think that helped derail as well as some shallow parts on the roster. But I think in 2022, when they made it and lost, they had a healthy team. They had all 22 starters for the Super Bowl. So week one starter to the Super Bowl, that's almost unheard of, but they were damn near close to it last year as well. So I think that the theme this cycle is, let's see if we can get this offensive powerhouse going like it should. And I think that even though they won the Super Bowl last year, while ownership is very pleased and happy to have won, everybody loves their championships. The greed is natural, especially at that level of the sport, and they want more. And I think that starts with, okay, how can we run this team through Saquon but still have a dominant passing offense? I think similar to kind of what we did in 2022, where Miles Sanders had his career year. It wasn't like Sanders wasn't involved. He was very heavily involved. And I think people forget how dominant that run game was that year. It was just outweighed by Jalen Hurts' career passing yards, or I think second highest. I think 23 was his highest. But Jalen just had an overall really good year. I think we as fans would accept the touchdown numbers to go up if the interception numbers went up just a tad, especially if that means we could finally break that 4K yard mark, because that's been really tough for him. And I think another note is, we say it every year, but is this year we finally get running backs involved in the passing game? I mean, Saquon, good with the ball in his hands. Shipley's really good as a receiver. And A.J. Dillon, funny enough, despite his size, has actually been very effective as a catching back in the NFL.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree with all those points that you made. And I think the one reoccurring theme and the name that you keep coming up with is Jalen Hurts, right? That name keeps coming up. And I think that's the theme of this year is, can Jalen become an MVP a league MVP winner? Like, can he elevate himself to that point? Or excuse me, or is it the team has to be tremendously good around him for them to win? Because it's not like our team isn't, we're stacked across the board. And we all know what AJ is going to do. We have an idea of, as long as healthy, Barkley's going to do. Defense has some questions. Is Carter going to elevate himself too? But I think, going back to what I was saying before, the theme of this year is two words, and it's Jalen Hurts. Because there were so many naysayers. I can't even say that right. There were so many naysayers about him after he won. All the controversy of him not being in top 10, all the controversy of him the Eagles not being even picked to win the NFC East, all the controversy with the Cam Newton comments, all that stuff is all coming. Like, you have to answer those. You got to answer up to those. And the best way you do that is, one, by winning. And I think now, for this year, he's got to win by style points. He's got to look good doing it. No more of the conversation, I just want to win. I get that. But now we got to see it more. We got to see you flash more. And I get it. He has a swagger about him. He's got a style about him. But I think this year is really where he's got to put his stamp on this season as, I am one of the best players in the NFL.
I would agree. I think that I mentioned this on a previous show. That Bucs game week 4 yet again is going to be quite the staple. Because there's a good chance they go into that game 2-1, and come out of it 2-2. So
yeah, agree.
This is his year. I believe Saquon just got voted number 1 overall in the top 100. So, the weight will be on his shoulders to try to outperform his season. The only difference, in my opinion, is just for Saquon to even get close to what he did last year is, the stats are against him. Luckily, Hurts' season last year, while it was topped off with the Golden Cherry, it was not very impressive as a passer or on the ground. So the bar is pretty low for him to kind of blow the memory of that season. You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't really have to be that great. He doesn't have to throw for 4,500 yards and 40 touchdowns. But I think 30 passing touchdowns, less than 15 interceptions, and knocking on 4,000 yards, I think a lot of people are going to change the way they talk about him.
Yeah, no, I agree. And we'll get into our season predictions for this year for the Philadelphia Eagles. But, staying on this common theme about Hurts, I think you're right. Like, he can't – his statistics, just the look of it, it can't be out of the top 10. He's got to finish as a top 10 quarterback this year. And I get it. Rushing touchdowns do count too, but we got to, we got to see it through there. Now, at the end of the day, we're all going to sit back and say a win is a win. Who cares if we're winning?
They would
but
say
all I'm saying is the naysayers are not going to go away, and that's fine because you can kill all the outside noise as long as we're raising banners and getting more rings and talking about dynasty with this team. Nobody cares, right? But if you want a team for this year, 2 words: Jalen Hurts, man. Jalen Hurts. So, looks like our member is in the background here. So, we're supposed to go on 9 with him. So, just give us a little bit back there, our Marcus, and then we'll get you on here in a little bit. So, season predictions. And we can start off with Hurts. And I think you put the number out there. At least 30 touchdowns.
I'd like to see it, yeah.
I got it. Like getting choked up talking about the Philadelphia Eagles. That's like the second time. A bold predictional. Let me ask you this. If they have an amazing record and he has top 10 numbers, like, are we talking MVP year for Hurts? Or he's just not that talented of a.
He'd have to have a hell of a year to get into that conversation. I think he'd have to have a pretty stellar season, and I just don't know if he's got that in him. I don't know if the structure of the team though kind of allows that for him. Like I think, kind of like you said, it's going to come down to. Going to come down to if they're not throwing the ball effective, they're going to run the football. You know what I mean? And they show that they can play bully ball. And I think they kind of like to do it to a sense, but I've said it before. I've said it for years. This team wants to air the ball out. That's what they want to see. They want to put up as many points as possible. They want to dominate teams, but they want to do it with an effective passing game.
Yeah.
It's just, they won the bowl last year. They got to the bowl. They finished it by throwing the football effectively, but Saquon's not the all-time leading rusher for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So
he does it again?
No, that won't happen. But he doesn't have to have those numbers to say that he had a dominant year. To say that they ran the ball well. He can have 1,500 yards and it's still an amazing season. He can have over 1,200 yards rushing and it's still an amazing season.
Has anybody ever had 1,500 yards back-to-back years?
Chris Johnson.
That does make sense. And he still didn't win an MVP.
No. Different times and a lot more running backs. LT might have ran for 1,500 back-to-back. It's a special group of players.
Yeah. Agreed. So with this season prediction that I'm thinking about, it could be a bold prediction. It could be, how can I say a normal prediction that somebody's already said. Give me 2 bold season predictions, one on offense, one from defense from you.
I'll start with defense. Jalen Carter is among the conversation for best defensive tackle in the NFL at the end of the year, defensive player of the year consideration, and as well as talked about as one of the best defensive players in all football.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that price tag just keeps going up. And then,
to that point, I think I heard in an interview that they tell him to not go full out in practice because he would wreck practice.
Well, you're talking about the kid that used to sleep up to like 15 minutes before college games in the SEC. So he's just a freak of nature, man. However, you got to get things done with him. I mean, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he could go into hibernation for the offseason, come back, and still dominate. He's just one of those dudes. On offense, I've said it on the show before, I'm going to go with the Eagles attempt a high-performing passing offense, and it results in a Bucs loss in Week 4, and they resort back to a heavy run game after that.
Okay. My bold predictions. Oh, man. I think Barkley leads the league in rushing again. I don't think he falls off. I agree with you. They're going to try to, use the arm of Jalen. And I just think they're going to find out that they know what they're good at and what got them to the Super Bowl, and that's running the football with Saquon Barkley. And I think he has a similar year to what he did last year. Now, whether he gets 2K again or anything like that, I don't think any other running back has done that. But if he does get it again, it's hard to not put him in the conversation for MVP. And then defensively, I'm sticking with my guy, man. I've been with him all year. And I think Jalen Hurts will lead this team in sacks. I think he's going to have a breakout year. I think it's either him or Ojombo. One of the two are going to shine, I think. And but my bet's on Hunt. I just like his game. I like how he plays, and he started to turn on at the end. And I think you will see him become the dominant pass rusher that I think he's going to be. And you will see Nolan Smith fade to the back, unfortunately. But speaking about fading to the in the background, we have our first member of the Money Team jumping on live. This is Marcus Walker. I see some things in the background. He's got some connections, so let's bring on Marcus right now. Philly hat looking good, all greened up. Marcus, welcome what's good, man? Welcome to the Victory Monday show, Victory Monday podcast. Appreciate you jumping on. Appreciate you being first to join on the Money Team and being a member. So we wanted to bring you on and talk Birds, talk Eagles, but first, give us a little background, where you're at, where you're from, how long you've been an Eagles fan, and any connections you have with the Birds.
So I'm out here in San Antonio, Texas. I've been an Eagles fan, I want to say, since Deuce Staley. That was my favorite Eagles player until Brian Dawkins, learning a little bit more. But as far as my connections to the Eagles, I'm going to say, like, it ties to you. Because I didn't really start getting into football as much until I moved in living with you. And then, of course, watching football every Sunday, having the whole fam. And then, of course, the Super Bowl year where we got to get off school that Monday because they thought we were going to win it. But,
yeah,
hey, it is what it is. But, that's how it all ties into it. Yeah, that's it for the most part, man.
Cool. And what do you do?
So I'm a project manager for the marketing team for the entire Air Force out here in San Antonio. So any of our major partners, like, what was it? Today's Monday. So yesterday, Bubba Wallace having Air Force wrap on his car while they were in Darlington, South Carolina. I manage all those programs that we have. As I can't say the amount, but the amount of contracts we got going on. And then, I'm going to be in Oklahoma this upcoming weekend for Michigan versus OU because we have a partnership with Learfield, which kind of gives us access to all of college ESPN game day, all the good stuff. So we got a lot of good things going in as far as just getting the branding out there, getting the awareness, helping to the recruiting aspect of it. But that's it for the most part.
Yeah, I want to make sure we put a stamp on your credibility as a serviceman. So make sure we all understand that you serving this country well, brother. So let's get into it, man. Dallas week. Let me ask you, since we went around the horn with it, give me two bold predictions, one on offense, one on defense for this upcoming 2025-2026 season.
So I'm going to go bold. I'm going to say Jahad Campbell takes Rookie of the Year on defense.
Ooh, okay.
And then on offense, I'm a go Nick Sirianni gets Coach of the Year.
Two out of the left field ones. Okay, I wasn't even thinking that way. I like them though. For sure. Good picks. Like the Sirianni one. I think the Sirianni is underrated. Underrated call. I think it's under. If they have a great season, there's going to be a couple factors to that. But like my GM Ernie, it kind of starts at the top, right, and you work your way down. We know what Lori and Roseman do in terms of the executive and the C-suite branch, but then it's got to go right to the head coach. How does it not go to the head coach right from there? So, like that one. Might have to look at the odds on that one. That's a good one.
I mean, you just paid the man, so why not, show the league his actual true value? And this would be the opportunity, especially with the window of us being a potential dynasty, that if he can go ahead and kind of, strike while the iron's hot, there's no other chances to win it.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. It makes absolute sense. I really like it. All right, let's get into the game for the opener. Thursday night football. I got that injury report that you sent over to me, Ernie B. So I got you, bro. I didn't miss it. All right, so here's a quick injury report, right? As of today, Langer, Dickerson, and McKee didn't practice. Makuba and Uche were limited, and Jalen Carter was full practice, but still had a shoulder issue. What do you know, Ernie B, so far? What are the background folks telling you about Dickerson being ready to go for game one?
I mean, Brett Toth took reps with the ones today, so I would say this back issue is new. And Dickerson's body's just taken a hell of a beating, so far through this offseason. We can note that he did have a knee surgery at the beginning of the year for his injury last year. Then he had the meniscus injury and just recently had a trim. Which a trim is not a repair. It's different. And then this back thing, I don't know. I'm going to call it, this is day to day with Dickerson. We got to see. I will say I don't think McKee will dress. That's a broken thumb on his throwing hand. I don't see any sign of him. I think he misses the first two games, making that Sam Howell trade a little bit more important. Makuba and Uche, they've been dealing with some nagging soft tissue stuff towards the end of camp. I think we'll see Brown start and Makuba kind of come up behind him. Carter's on the report just because he did get treatment for that shoulder this morning. So anytime a player does receive treatment of any kind, doesn't matter how long it is reported. And so it was for his shoulder. He's had a nagging shoulder issue since Georgia. I don't quite know what it is. Sure, it's just a rotator cuff or something like that. But there's no points of concern on this injury report for the Eagles. Cowboys themselves, it's a whole different story over there.
Well, tell us about the Cowboys. I don't know.
I had it pulled up here. They have, let's see, Trayvon Diggs practicing full. He's coming off the small knee surgery he had. Tyler Guyton's full practice. Those are the only two that are really an issue. The big thing for them is at corner. They've got a lot of depth problems outside of Diggs. Siobhan Ravel out of East Carolina, who I was pretty high on. He's coming off a torn ACL, and his rehab suffered a setback early on. So they're just real shallow at that position, and their offensive line is young, and it's got some question marks. I mean, I definitely think the Eagles are very far ahead in that department.
Yeah, and then they just paid, Bland?
Yeah, they paid Bland. That's him. Tyler Smith, the left guard, will probably get paid, and then as well as Sam Williams, who is the defensive end that has been opposite Mike Parsons. Yeah,
so we know the bomb that dropped with Parsons, right? Getting traded to the Green Bay Packers, and then you go back and you pay Bland, which I don't know what Jerry's doing. You know what I mean? I don't even know if Jerry knows what Jerry's doing.
No.
Like he's senile. Like I don't get it at all. So and then I thought the back injury for Parsons was like some bullshit, but it seems like it's actually a legit injury that he had, because they said for him to play he might have to get injections into his back. I guess
that was more of the Packers trying to kind of poke eye at the Cowboys again, because the Cowboys said that his MRI was clean, no issues. and then obviously there was a problem. So I think that's more the Packers just kind of trying to poke fun at Dallas again.
Yeah, I mean, in my head, I'm like Parsons playing, and he'll probably get a sack or two. There's no way he
wouldn't have been out there at practice today.
Yeah, exactly.
If there was any question.
Yeah. All right, so it is Dallas week, and like I said before, it doesn't matter if the Eagles are 16-0, 0-16. It's just different when it's Dallas week, and it's just crazy that is the season opener. And then Jerry's going to come here and watch us raise our banner, which he hasn't seen one in over 25 years. So with that being said, we kind of went through a little bit of the injury report on both sides on the house. Marcus, I'll go to you, bro, man. What do you see in this game, and what do you think are going to be the keys to this game, and how the Eagles are going to come away from a victory on their home opener?
As far as what I'm seeing is basically, can Nick and Jalen keep the streak going? Since Nick has been running the team and Jalen's been the starter, they have been undefeated in the season opener. So that's going to be the thing to see, especially now with this being a divisional game to start off with, and kind of being on the petty level that your rival, the team that actually has the long or a big drought as far as being in Super Bowl, is watching their rivalry do this. But curious to see how's the Eagle line going to do with, Steen now being cemented as that starting right guard. How these guys basically, are they going to kind of be stagnant? Because starters didn't get any preseason play. Yeah. So is it going to be a slow start, or are these guys going to come out, like they haven't missed anything? But as well, we get to see that opportunity of can't remember the OC's name, but basically just to see him as a play caller and kind of see, that like we've seen this episode before as far as, a new offensive coordinator after a Super Bowl, and it wasn't so favorable as, the last time it was Brian Johnson taking over against New England, and the Eagles were kind of stagnant. So is that going to be repetitive? And then, with Vic Fangio taking over, is this defense going to now take that next step over and kind of give us that reminiscence of Jim Johnson, how he had that Eagles defense back in the day? But then I'm curious to see what's on Dallas.
Let me stop you there. I'm gonna cut you off right there, because I need to understand this fixation with Eagles fans and folks wanting the glory days of Jim Johnson. Those days are so far gone. I never ceases to amaze me how that name still comes up, and we want that. We don't have those type of players anymore. Where they don't.
I don't think it's the.
We don't blitz. Like I'm trying to think of a coordinator since Jim Johnson that was a blitzer, like him blitzing, because he was an annoying blitzer. He blitzed what? Help me out, Ernie B. Just take it back. At least
Todd Bowles.
I want to say 50-50, but it was close, right?
Yeah, Todd Bowles is the closest thing nowadays. Him and Flores gets a little kinky with it, but Flores is more he's Belichick tree, so they run completely different. But yeah, the Johnson defense doesn't exist anymore. But I mean, I will say it's kind of funny too, because Jim Schwartz was not bad when he was here, and he got a ring. And it's like he made blitz. Well, that's fine, but he made out with, like, we won the Super Bowl with Jalen.
Yeah,
Mills,
I love Schwartz.
Darby and Patrick. Patrick.
Yeah,
Johnson.
Schwartz is a great DC.
Patrick Robinson, excuse me, but I think Schwartz honestly has kind of been the most underrated defensive mind that's come through Philly, because he had success, but he was kind of into those early rocky road, and then at the very end, and then he just bailed before things got real messy. Like Schwartz, and then he left football and then came back, and now he's just been with the Browns ever since. So I think Schwartz gets a little, I don't know, they don't talk about him.
Yeah, I mean, I think he was definitely underrated as a coordinator here. He what it reminded me of? I'm trying to think of somebody else who was like that, but he was the bend don't break defense. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you could go from 20 to 20 all day on his defense, but once they buckled down once they got into the red zone with Schwartz.
Yeah,
you know what I mean,
Spagnuolo is pretty similar.
Yeah, Kevin Petula, Marcus is the OC for the Eagles. But to your point though, Marcus, some of the things that you said with Steen, I'm not too worried about Steen because he won the job in the first place, but he got hurt. and then Becton took over. So I think him sitting and watching somebody else get success and then go off and get paid too, by the way. Well, not paid, but he went off and got paid. But well, he was looking for a lot more, I think, back then, and he just wasn't going to get it. It was a 1-year deal with the Chargers, right?
No,
Was
it's
it 1
two,
year?
but it's set up
It's
like
two.
one. But he wanted more money than he got.
Yeah. But I think they like Steen. I think Steen will be fine. I think the question is, and you can see how Howie's moved, is that if you look at all our backups in terms of who made this roster, bringing Fred Johnson back as well, I think there's some real concerns up front from an injury standpoint, right? If you go from left to right, every last one of them really had an issue, except for Steen, right? That's why I have confidence that he's the only one. I think Mahalata had a concussion in training camp. We already know Dickerson already. How fully 100% is Cam with that back injury? Really young to have a back injury like that. Steen, fine. And then, Lane had a concussion during the training camp as well. I think I think both of them, tackles was during the Cleveland. They must have been really, Myles Garrett must have been killing those boys out there. But when you think about that, we need these backups. So I think for me at least, I think Steen will be fine. But I do agree. We're notoriously, since Sirianni's came and the starters don't play, we've been notorious slow starters, for out the gate, and it takes time to get that back. And then the high of the ring and stuff like that. I like the mindset of everybody. Everybody's like on to the next one, on to the next one. But I don't want to take up too much of your time that you got here. So, but yeah, no, I do agree with that. But yeah, keep going. Tell me more about thoughts on the game from the defensive side of the ball now.
From the defensive side, I'm curious to see what Vic is going to do as far as, with Jihad being on the field. Nakobe's not going to be there. So are they going to kind of reverse roles between Bond and Campbell now? Because they're both going to kind of play the same similar style. Campbell
Does
may
Vic,
be
did you know
potentially.
if Nick did the starters yet? I know Vic in the press said ask Nick. Is that not? So when is that presser for Nick to name?
They don't have to. They'll take it into the snap, the very first.
Okay.
Snap.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. I'm sorry. Go ahead, bro.
Nah, but just seeing how the linebackers, how this core is going to look, but as well, the safety, can Brown tone it down and kind of, focus and stuff, just being a missile. He basically is hurting himself, literally and figuratively, just kind of being reckless. If he can hone it down a little bit, because we don't know it, Makuba and his injury and stuff, but as well, we don't want to give any inclination of, the fan base, trying to get an excuse to go ahead and get, Justin Simmons and come to Philly. If we can keep this young core and let these groups develop, as we saw what the Rams did, having 9 rookies start on the defense. So if we got these young guys, these kind of, growing core, because Carter's going to get paid, so we're going to have to, make sure we got that money. But then as well, CB2, CB2 is going to be the other one. If our rush can make our DBs look like, the Super Bowl year, then I think we should be straight. I'm talking the 2017 year, because our rush made our DBs look good during that season. So if our rush can make CB2 look good, make the secondary look straight, then we should be fine. But fun fact, the Eagles have averaged 32 points.
Keep talking that shit, bro. Keep talking that shit.
The Eagles have averaged 32 points on their season opener.
Wow.
So even if we started slow, they have put up at least, 30 plus.
Okay. Ernie B, with all the stuff that Marcus just kind of broke down of some of the things and keys he saw in the game defensively wise with this young defense and new group, Vangio, all the above, Brown. What do you see as that on that back end, right? Do you think it's going to be Brown and Adoree starting there on the back end?
Yeah.
Or what are you thinking?
Yeah. Adoree and Brown will start just because Vic's always going to go with the guys that have had the most time and, with classroom time and on-field reps.
Yeah.
So speaking on Makuba with injuries and then Bennett being traded halfway through training camp, those two are on the outside looking in. I would say that by week 10, moving on, it would not surprise me if Makuba and Bennett had beat those two out for the job. But week 1, 2, 3, I'm kind of thinking we're looking at a combo of Jackson opposite Mitchell and then Sidney Brown next to Blankenship. One note I wanted to make there, though, on something Marcus said was the Campbell Bond linebacker rotation. We cannot count out Jeremiah Trotter Jr. I've heard a couple people have made notes that don't be surprised to see Campbell used in some ways that we haven't seen Vic use a player yet. Campbell allows them to do some different things. And so with the idea that Campbell and Bond are interchangeable, well, how wicked would it be if they were on the field at the same time? Well, then you think you're sacrificing a linebacker. Well, what if they don't? Because they have Trotter, who has had such a good camp. He can man that mic. And I think that once they figure out that role with Trotter, by the time Dean comes back, if there are 3 linebacker packages where maybe Bond or Campbell's in place as one of the edge rushers, you're starting to get real wicked with the looks that they can. I mean, the stunts, the sim pressures, the creeper pressures, it starts to get real nasty. So I think that's the one note is we have to remember that Trotter Jr. is there, and they're going to utilize the depth they have at linebacker.
No, I completely agree. And I think it goes to their strength, really, when you think about it. As much as we've clamored and we need a linebacker. Like if you look at the defense, I mean, it's hard not to argue that the most talented group and the strongest group could be the LBs.
The defensive line is referred to as one of the best in the league year in and year out. And yet again, this year internally, the league is referring to the Eagles as one of the best, deepest in the trenches. But for once, they're getting respect at linebacker, which is just unheard of in this city.
I disagree with that because Carter's in a conversation by himself. But when you look, that's a lot to say about Ojomo, right? For somebody who hasn't played a full season. Uche, Ozolari, they're kind of like, I mean, Uche.
They're mainly talking about the interior defensive lineman.
Oh, just okay. I was about,
edge rusher is a known question throughout the league, and then
even Davis, right? We got to see what Davis is now. With the weight loss.
The thing about Ojomo is, while he was a 7th round pick, there are multiple teams that had 3rd, 4th round grades on that kid. He was very young coming out of college. He's like super intellectual. He's very smart.
I was about to say super smart. I heard him speak.
Yeah, he's wicked smart, almost awkward smart.
Yeah.
If you've ever been around someone like that, that's just so smart, they're almost kind of awkward to be around. But he's figured it out. He's super young, and the way he's viewed to us as fans and the way he's viewed internally in the NFL are two different things. Ojomo's a name, and I think that his tape last year was really good, and him and Carter alone in that defense, depending on what happens with Davis, who we hear it every year, best shape of his life, but if you think in a world where Davis shows, a fart of life, and Ojomo does what they're saying he's going to do, but if you think about it, they have a really, really good defensive line, and they're very young. Teams like the Panthers, they would sell a lot of their skill positions in order to get the depth that the Eagles have in the D line.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I don't see it, but we'll see because it's just unproven behind Carter, in my opinion. I mean, they're unproven behind Carter. So I don't really see that up front. And I think we talked about that. The weakest, I'm mirroring edge with the internal line, and so I'm seeing it across the front.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah, Vic doesn't edge is its own position. So I mean, you can mirror
edge with linebackers really because they're really outside linebackers.
Yeah,
about it.
I mean? Just like trying to tell, Vic that a nickel is a corner. He will tell you technically it's a linebacker, but, you start bringing that up, and it's like, geez, is it a 3-4? No, it's a 5-2. It's like, well, no, there is no 5-2. It's technically a 3-4, but it's like,
So, to Vic, technically a nickel is a safety now.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Like, it's just – and then the fact that everybody's wearing, small numbers And then the fact that the size of everybody is just decreased in half by what it once was. They talk about the Jim Johnson defense. We need all defensive linemen to play the entire field. Like, we need linebackers to play corner. Like, it just doesn't work like that. They're not built like that anymore.
So for those who are jumping on, just want to know, let everybody know this is one of our fans of the show, Marcus Walker, who does serve for our United States Air Force. So I always appreciate you for your service, sir. And he's part of the money team, jumped on to get his 15 or probably pushing 20 minutes or even 30 minutes at this point of time to be able to talk live with us, talking Eagles, talking Dallas, talking game day, Thursday night football. So if you guys are interested, make sure you just hit the join on the Money Pot Betting YouTube channel and, hit the join button. Don't have to do it. There's other tiers, or you just kind of chime in with us. All right, Marcus, before you get out of here in the next 5, give me a score for Eagles, Dallas, and tell me what you're looking forward to for this season.
I'm probably going to go 30-27. And what I'm looking at is our secondary.
Close? God damn.
And what I'm looking at is, of course, our boys are going to be rusty, but then, our DBs are going to have, in their first 4 games, they're going to be tested. You get CD and George Pickens. So CB2 is definitely going to be tested for sure because Pickens was a prior wide receiver 1. Now you're going to see if it's Adore or if it's Ringo. Can they hold their own? Are they going to be a liability? But as well, with the communication not being there during preseason, just because these cats didn't play. I know they get to do scrimmages with other teams and all that stuff, but in game is a little bit more different because you're actually playing with the playbook. You're not, doing some bland style. So making sure the communication is there, and then that first half kinks that you may have to get over. But then, like I said, you look at it, Detroit. What was it, 34-30? Even New England. I think the only game that was a blowout was probably Nick's first game, and that was the Atlanta one. But every other first game was kind of close when it came to the score. So,
hey, down the play, Zeke ain't in Dallas no more, bruh. What you talking about? You know what I mean? Where you? What? I don't know what year you're in. You ain't in this one. I'll tell you that right now. I mean, get it together now. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead, guys. My bad.
But no, that's basically about it. And Schottenheimer has been decent as far as the offensive coordinator or a play caller. He's been there with Brent Favre. He's been there as far as Andrew Luck. So the issue is Schottenheimer curse following him because of wherever he goes, the ACL follows. So that's going to be the issue. And if it's going to be this game or if it's somewhere, but I'm curious, to see what he does with this offense because he does happen to produce a productive as far as offensive squad.
Okay. Any thoughts on plays of the game, a player of the game, or anything? Anything else you got from you with the game itself?
I think the player of the game is probably going to be, if I had to put a name on it, Quinion. I think Quinion's going to be, we're going to see that opportunity of Quinion maybe matching up against both CD and Pickens.
I don't think he follows any of them. I don't think they pulled that out game 1, but go ahead. My bad.
You never know. It may be one of them, like just to show little flashes because that versatility you do have with Cooper DeJean. That's going to allow Quinion to kind of be a little bit more versatile in a sense as far as playing both sides. And at the end of the day, if you want to, play cover 6 and move Quinion to the whichever side is going to be that cover 2 side, and that just happen to be Pickens or it could be CD. So, those two guys' versatility is probably just opening up the possibilities Vic Fangio can do with his defense.
Yeah, I don't think I know he's done that this year. I just don't think they pulled out game 1. Might be more specific, something else. But I'll tell you what, whoever QB cornerback 2 is, they will see a lot of passes coming that way. I'll tell you that right now. First play of the game, slant. Wherever Dory is, wherever Ringo is, or whoever's out there, slant. I'm throwing right at them, like all day. It don't matter who's out there. I'm throwing right at them. First play of the game. We're not running. We're not setting no tone. The tone is we're going to be throwing at your weakest link, and that's your second cornerback for sure. You said what, 30? You said 30, 27?
Yeah.
Okay. Before you get out of here, one more thing. I know you do, obviously we have fans all across the states, but you do a flag football thing. Go tell the folks about what you do for flag football and where they can sign up, or any other things that you might have that where people can find you, even Air Force stuff.
So I run Central Oklahoma Flag Football League in OKC. So it's to the point now we've expanded. We're almost in the entire state, to the point we got D.D. Westbrook playing in it now. So if you're looking for, top talent competition, something like that, and if you're in the Oklahoma area, definitely. But you'll see us out and about, as we do have a travel team. We'll be out in Tampa Bay, New Orleans, wherever there's a USA flag football tournament. My team will definitely be out there. But then as well, I start flag for On Base next week or next month, where we get different branches that have different teams. Army normally comes heavy, like 5 or 6 in the Navy. The Air Force, we only got one team. So, we always got to do what we do and show everybody, the Air Force is not as soft as people think it is. But but nah, that's about it, man. I can't do these 2 miles, 3 mile runs. Like, we ran 3.5 miles with Thursday, and I can do that playing flag football and not even think about it. So, that's just my way of getting my cardio in without running 12, 15 laps on the track, thinking if I really need to keep this job.
That's funny. All right, Marcus, man, I appreciate you chiming on as always. Appreciate you as a money team. Appreciate you, cousin, for coming through. Until we'll see you next month, because the thing keeps rolling over. So next month we'll do another one where you get to come on, and we'll keep this thing running until we got to start really scheduling people. So as always, appreciate you, man, and be safe out there, and I'll talk to you later.
Yes, sir. Y'all take it. Go Birds.
All right, bro. See you. All right, that was Marcus Walker of the Money Team jumping on here for the membership plan that we do here on YouTube. Again, if you guys are on YouTube, go ahead and hit the join button. There's multiple tiers there, but that one is kind of cool coming on. Where we can give you guys a voice to come talk with us and talk sports. If you don't want to do a podcast, you just want to talk, not a comment, actually come on. Obviously, keep it decent, right? No naked holes in the back or nothing crazy, right? I mean, in the back. But keep it clean, keep it classy, and obviously keep it Philly. So I didn't get to talk to you, bro. I feel like I was talking to Marcus the whole time, and you just fly on the wall here, man. Talk to me, man. Talk to me about Dallas Eagles and what you see for this game coming up.
I kind of agree with, I think it's going to be typical slow start.
Yeah.
I got a 27-20 finish on it.
Yeah, I don't think 30-27 seemed high to me.
Yeah, I think the over-under is 47.5, so I'd probably take the under on that. I see kind of a late surge from both teams. Kind of close going into the half. Eagles kind of maintain. Maybe they go up 20-7. Then the Cowboys come back. The whole shebang.
It is still a division game for sure.
Yeah, I think that we're going to see more than 40 passes from Dak Prescott. I mean, I think that's going to happen. I mean, he's going to air the ball out. And like you said, I think it's going to be a long night for whoever's playing cornerback 2. And God forbid they decide to bracket, which I don't think Vic would, but you never know the motions and the shifts. If they can get a bracket situation between Jackson and Brown, they could look bad in the same play. So I think it's, I think there's going to be a lot of overreaching in both directions no matter what happens. But I do think they continue the streak with Sirianni. I think they're going to get a dub. I just don't think just because of the Michael Parsons trade, all of a sudden Dallas becomes some sort of pushover. I think they're still a feisty team. Like for the teams that are, for the guys that are hyping up the New York Giants, as much as it is, the Cowboys still have a stronger base than the Giants do. So, I think the NFC East is just more of the NFC beast instead of the NFC least at the moment.
Mhm.
So I just see I kind of see the whole division beating on each other.
Yeah, I don't agree with that one last statement. I mean, I think NFC East games are always going to be tough, and it's always a division game. So and I don't think Dallas is going to be a pushover, but losing Micah does hurt them.
Oh, of course it hurts them. I mean, it definitely knocks a couple games off their total, but they're not, they still have a high-powered offense. So
Yeah, no, and I was going to get to that part, and I think you might see that old Dak Prescott where he's throwing for like 4,500 yards because that's what he's going to have to do.
He's going to be throwing the ball 45 times a game. You know what I mean? I mean, they don't have a running game, so
yeah, Williams and Sanders ain't it.
No, and then Jadon Blue is, he's a developmental.
He's hurt. Is he hurt? Right? Is he hurt?
He's always dealing with something. He's coming off some stuff in college, but he's always dealing with something.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and then up front, I was looking at their depth chart, and up front, I mean, I don't think they have enough, especially against us. In terms of how that matchup goes, and I'm kind of meant to do this with Marcus, but we can do it together real quick here. Who would you give the advantage to? O-line, Eagles O-line versus Cowboys. I'm sorry, Eagles D-line versus Cowboys O-line.
Eagles D-line all day.
And then the other way around, the D-line for the Cowboys versus
Eagles
the O-line.
The Eagles
O-line. Okay.
On both sides.
All right, let's go skill positions.
With Saquon, they win that battle there too. They're kind of even on receiver. They're kind of even at tight end. I'd say that Saquon's the tip of the cap there.
Tip of the cap.
Yeah.
Quarterback.
They're about even.
Okay. Secondary.
I'll say they're about even in that sense too. I think that the questions with the Eagles that are there, they still have Trayvon Diggs. They do have Deron Bland, who has had success. So I would take the Eagles, but I think that it'll be easier to decide that by the end of the year.
With Michael Parsons still on this team, would you give the edge to their defensive line over ours?
No.
Interesting.
Yeah, they just don't have enough. And even like Kenny Clark or Micah doesn't, because you got to swap one or the other. So when you remove Kenny Clark, they have a need for a defensive tackle pretty badly. And then if you take, Parsons away, they need an edge rusher. But I mean, Sam Williams is a player that I think is pretty good.
Yeah, does Mozzie Smith get the start now? I'm assuming.
Mozzie Smith's not a starter. It'd be Kenny Clark and Digizua. And
Kenny Clark came over. That's right.
Yeah,
I forgot about that. Okay, I forgot about he came over in the trade. Yeah. Okay. Coaching.
I give it to the Eagles. I mean,
ownership. Ownership.
Not question at all. Check the last 30 years.
Oh man, fan base.
Cowboys have more of them. I can tell you that they're all around the world. But I would say that they're the less informed fan base.
They do.
There's a lot of memes that go around. I don't know if you've seen, but Eagles fans will go up to Cowboys fans dressed in neutral colors, and they go, "Man, how about old Jeff Smith, that DB they drafted out of Miami, man? How do you think he's going to do this year?" And then it's always the old heads. Like, man, he's going to be a baller, man. I think if he can keep that off the field stuff together, he's going to be a baller, just completely out of their ass. So
yeah,
I don't know. Eagles fans tend to know a lot of them know down to the backups. So and they get mad when they don't perform well. So I think they get the win there.
I actually agree with everything. I thought secondary. Yeah, it's funny because you actually said a lot of things that would make these teams a little bit more closer and even than what people might think because you're just looking at it on paper.
Well, I think that the
in the
Cowboys have a
trenches.
lot of injuries that are tightening themselves up, you know.
Mhm.
And now they kind of got to reconfigure who they're going to be on defense without Micah. But they were terrible last year, even with him. And then, you know, especially against the run. And then they brought in Matt Eberflus, who his Bears defense was second to worst against the run in DVOA. So I don't see much of that changing. But, I mean, Trayvon Diggs and Deron Bland, when they do play well, they get a lot of turnovers.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. All right, man. Tell me how you think this game is gonna finish up. I know you kind of give me a score, but
Yeah,
any
I think, like I
defining
said,
moment?
I think 27-20, Eagles come away with the victory. Like I said, I think it's a slow start. I think Cowboys make it close in the end, but ultimately the Eagles will prevail. I'll shout out to Marcus. I'm going to call it with a Quinyon Mitchell ice pick. Not going to call it a pick six, but a Quinyon Mitchell shuts it down. Eagles need the game out.
Yeah, I could see that. I would love that actually. Get him started early because he didn't get his first one until what, the playoffs, right?
Yeah, playoffs.
Yeah.
Had a money one until Gardner Johnson came over and smacked him, and you know,
He was so mad.
he was so
He
mad.
got up, pouting like a little kid.
Oh, he was so mad. And like I argued with you about it. I was like, look, man, Bet gets first dibs, but come on, CD, you got to let your boy get that. I know you got bonuses on the line and all that. So, you know,
Sure.
It is what it is.
That is funny. I remember that one. I remember that one well, actually. Yeah. My prediction will be, let's go 27-17.
Right in the same ballpark.
Yeah, I think I just don't know how they're going to who's going to score 3 or 4 times for the Cowboys. I think they will find some success throwing the ball. I think Don Playa asked about a prop bet, or was it him? Yeah, I think it was him. Dak over for me, for sure. His passing yards over, because they're not going to be able to run the ball on us. Like, this is not.
No, but I don't think they care. Like, their moves would tell you that they don't care. They went out and got Pickens. They didn't address running back. They added more weapons. So it tells me that they're going to go out there in 11 and they're going to air the damn ball out.
Yeah, they're going to throw the ball. Yeah,
I mean,
just like almost. Yeah,
yeah.
I agree. I don't see any other way either, as well. Trying to think, going back to season predictions or anything else with the Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles for Thursday Night Football. I said we talked about defense, we talked about offense. Give me MVP of this year for the team.
For the Eagles?
Yeah.
I'll stick with Jalen Carter.
Carter?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. You think they pay him next year?
He has to. He doesn't have to play football without getting paid. Next year is the year, I promise. And from what I'm hearing right now, Rosenhaus's first thing he's going to ask is to be the highest paid non-player in all of football. So obviously he's not going to get that. Yeah, but it's. I told you it was going to be in the 40s. You told me I was crazy. It's gonna be up there, man. He's going to change. And all the Micah deal did was just change it even more, because you took TJ Watt from 41 at edge to 47 APY. So it's not about who's the best. It's about who's next. So it's just going to keep adding up.
No
Eagles
way.
going to get Jalen Carter as soon as next season ends. That is going to be the first stat. It doesn't matter how their year ends. Super Bowl, win, loss, don't make the playoffs. Doesn't matter. He is their first priority.
Whew.
And he's got Drew Rosenhaus, who's one of the best in the business. So he's going to get that boy every penny he deserves.
No way he gets Micah's money.
No. He won't get Micah's money. But I could see 42, 43.
Who's the highest paid?
Lawrence, I think. I think we've looked at this. I think it's Lawrence.
Is it Lawrence?
Yeah. A 31.75 is the highest. Well, no, I thought Dexter Lawrence got paid again.
There we go.
Yeah, so he's at almost 32. So, yeah, I think it starts knocking on 40. I think that they make the jump. Every position is due for that kind of leap You know what I mean? Where you take that almost $10 million progression,
Right.
like Prescott did. So yeah, I could see it 40, 41, 42. Now there's who's to say who's next? I'd have to look and see who's next to get paid outside of him too. But yeah, I mean, we're talking about a lot of money.
Yeah. No, for real. For real. All right. Before we get out of here, I got one thing to say for our Dallas fans. Hopefully this works. And it didn't work. God damn it. Something's going on with the computer, man. Broken shit. Yeah. Just gave me an error. Your device is having trouble.
Really?
Really, right? Really? Is it really having trouble?
You tell me something's wrong. You can't tell me how to fix it.
Right. Thanks for telling me that. Let me try it one more time. See if this works. I'm gonna try it one more time for the people in the back. Still waiting. Oh, damn. How about now? No. Still not working. All right. Maybe next time. If it works, hopefully it works next time. Thanks everybody for joining in for Victory Mondays. Can't wait for Thursday night. I will be down at the stadium. So it's going to be a hell of a time. For myself, I'm Moss Money. That's Ernie B. Go fucking Birds, man. Let's go.